With more than 100,000 neurons crammed into portions as small as a single grain of sand, the human brain is genuinely remarkable. We may be the smartest animals on the planet, but we're not the only ones with highly evolved brains for survival. The amazing diversity of brains found in nature, from the incredibly intelligent elephants to the humble bony-eared assfish, really, is a remarkable example of evolution in action. Let's explore a few of the most bizarre ones with a whistle-stop tour. Octopus. One of the special challenges of being an octopus is learning to control all 8 of your arms. Thankfully, the octopus's neural system permits each arm to function somewhat independently of the body as a whole. Although they do have a primary brain located between their eyes, octopuses do not have a centralized nervous system like humans do. With 40 million neurons per limb, the arms contain more than 60% of the animal's total number of neurons. These neurons function as a sort of mini-brain, giving each tentacle the ability to interpret sensory data and control its own motion. As a result, octopuses essentially have 9 brains, which greatly facilitates tasks like looking for food. Like a control center, the animal's central brain makes decisions that impact its survival and delegates less crucial decisions to individual arms. It's fascinating to note that experiments reveal the autonomy of the octopus's mini-brains, as the arms continue to process and respond to data even after being severed. The same movements that limbs linked to a living octopus make in response to stimuli were found to be exhibited by severed limbs in 2001. Spiders. A great deal of mental capacity is required to spin intricate webs, and it turns out that many spiders have incredibly large brains relative to their bodies. The goal of the research project at the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute was to determine how these intricate behaviors are carried out by the smallest spiders. Researchers found that the brains of smaller species are proportionally larger than those of larger species, and that the central nervous systems of the tiniest species can occupy up to 80% of their body. Some tiny arachnids are so intelligent that their brains protrude into their limbs and occupy up to 25% of their legs. These species young even have enlarged, protruding bodies to fit their rather large brains. Elephant. It's not always the case that larger brains are superior. Elephants are renowned for their intelligence and for having excellent social memory and problem-solving abilities. They are not as intelligent as humans, though, at least not by our own standards. Why can't elephant brains outperform us when they weigh 3 times as much as human brains and have 257 billion neurons against our meager 86 billion? A 2014 study found that an animal's cognitive capacities are not only determined by its total neuronal count. Although humans have a greater number of neurons than elephants, the majority of neurons are found in the cerebellum, the area of the brain that regulates muscle action. But in our cerebral cortexes, we have about 3 times as many neurons. We are able to develop higher-order cognitive abilities like learning, reasoning, and language creation because of our highly developed cerebral cortexes. Bony-eared assfish. Stupid bony-eared fish. This deep-sea monster not only has one of the worst names ever for an animal, but it may also have the shortest brain-to-body ratio of any vertebrate. The assfish may have an incredibly large head, but just a small portion of its massive skull is made up of brain tissue. The bony-eared assfish makes up for its lack of intelligence with its keen sense of hearing. Large otoliths, or ear stones, in its skull enable it to perceive low-frequency noises. The assfish's brain exhibits several adaptations to support its survival in its surroundings, including a sizable cerebellum. These features might provide the animal with an acute perception of both its own motion and the locations of surrounding items. Given that the assfish would benefit greatly from having an improved sensory system in a deep, dark ocean, perhaps having a small brain isn't such a bad thing.